This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Opening statement, Karen?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, I hereby announce that adequate notice of this meeting, as required by said act, has been provided by adopting a schedule of regular meetings for the year 2020, which schedule was posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board, as well as the Borough website, and forwarded to both the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel of Gloucester County, and filed with the Borough Clerk on January 4th, 2020.
Okay. Salute to the flag. Everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it
stands one nation under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
Justice for all.
for all.
Okay.
Roll call, Karen?
Mayor Wallace,
Here.
Mr. Casabone,
present.
Mr. D'Alessandro,
Here.
Mr. Fiola,
Here.
Mr. Halter,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Present.
Mrs. Spence,
Here.
Ms. Veray,
Here.
Mr. Scafidi,
Present.
and Mr. Brunemer is not here this evening.
Okay. Our first resolution is for a closed session. Resolution 19620, authorizing a closed meeting of the mayor and council of the Borough of Glassboro. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'm sorry, are we going out of order?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
meant before that the resolution should be done first and then a motion to go out of order? Is that
No,
the-
I'm sorry. I apologize. I confused you. I meant to go out of order completely. So to do the no proclamations presentation, just to leave it until the end.
Yeah, the closed
So
session.
should we not do that resolution now and go back to it later?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
that's okay. So proclamations, Karen,
No, ma'am, we have nothing.
approval of the minutes from the work session meeting of August 6th, as well as the closed executive session of August 6th. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Karen, do you want to go over the new business?
Yes, I will. We have a few items on the agenda for new business. I need a motion to approve New Jersey State Firemen's Association membership applications. 3 of those, one is for Nathaniel Conley, one is for Michael Datz, and the last one, oh, I'm sorry, 4 of them. One is for Russell Johnson IV, and the last one is for Robert Laporta. So I'm looking for a motion for those.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. No, I didn't hear Deb then. Deb, did everybody hear Deb?
I did.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I can't
I'm
hear.
getting a little feedback too. I don't know if everybody else is.
I think it's the
Yeah?
storm
Okay, good.
that's coming. Sorry. We'll try and go through the rest rather
Fine.
quickly. So then I am looking for a motion to go out to RFP for electrical installation in a pole barn for water and sewer department.
I'll make the motion for that.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last item under new business is a motion to authorize the clerk to go out to bid for pole barn concrete work. And that's again for the water and sewer department.
I'll make the motion again.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
We
That
have no, oh, I'm sorry, Deb.
That concludes new business. Communications, Karen?
No, ma'am, I have no communications.
Okay,
Should we-
then we,
Would you like to skip over the discussion items until 6:45 and go directly to the resolutions?
sure. Do you want
Okay.
to read the resolution?
Sure. So resolution 19720, resolution authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage licenses for the Borough of Glassboro 2020-2021. Typically, we do this earlier in the year. However, with COVID-19, the ABC extended that time frame. And the ones we're renewing tonight, we're actually renewing more than this, but the last one is for St. Anthony's. And so we like to put that on a different, we like to take that vote separately. So because so many of the governing body have membership in St. Anthony's. So this one is for Glassboro VFW, Landmark Americana, Caesars, Glassboro Recreation Center, which is an in-pocket license. At one time, it was the bowling alley, Masso's, Monarch Diner, Canals, Tops and Grapes. The next few resolutions are all very similar.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Of course.
On the Glassboro Recreation Center, you said that was the bowling alley?
Yes.
Is that a free license that we have for sale?
So the license, to my knowledge, we have 2 that are for sale. I've been asked by the attorneys for those licenses that if anyone is interested, I'm to refer them to the attorney. So if
Okay.
anyone asks you, the attorneys have those licenses and they are available for sale.
So we have 2 of them.
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Was Italian
Okay.
affair get done on another resolution?
I'm sorry?
Would Italian affair get done at a different time?
Well, they haven't paid their fee yet.
Understood.
So I'm waiting for that and then we'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure, you're welcome. Moving on, resolution 19820. We have a number of these. It's actually 198, 199, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, and these are all authorizing the release of performance. These are all authorizing release of performance bonds for the Village Grant at Camelot, and they're all for phase 1, various sections, site improvements, and also water and sewer improvements as noted on the agenda. Did you want me to go through all of them individually, or you're okay with what's on the agenda?
Well, unless Tim objects, I'm okay with with you not going through them.
Yep,
I
I'm
am
fine with
too.
that. Yep, all
Tim's
good.
okay.
Good with me.
The next resolution, this is being done nunc pro tunc, resolution 20520, which is a resolution appointing William McCain as captain for the Glassboro Police Department. Bill was sworn in my office, and that was effective July 29th, 2020. Unfortunately, we can't do the ceremony until all this craziness is over. So hopefully we'll do that soon. Fingers crossed. Resolution 20620, resolution authorizing the sale of lands owned by the Borough of Glassboro pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13 and advertisement thereof. Idris and Deborah Hayward, block 466, lots 7 and 8, in the amount of $23,795. This is just to move forward with the process. Resolution 207 was actually pulled from the agenda. The state approved the deferred compensation plan as it was written in the last agenda when we approved it for the first time. Resolution 20820, resolution authorizing execution of discharge of mortgage by the Borough of Glassboro, County of Gloucester, and State of New Jersey Connie F. Smith, 409 Alfred Avenue in Glassboro. And this is in the amount of $19,475. And that is due to the fact that the loan was paid off. The last resolution this evening is this one we actually need a separate vote for. So if we could do the motion for the first, let me see, I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on two screens here.
197 to 208, correct?
There you go, 197. Thank you, Mr. Casabone.
Yeah. Karen,
197.
I'm sorry, can I ask Timmy a question? Timmy,
Sure.
on these resolutions, resolution 19822 to resolution 20420 has to do with DR Horton. Do I have to
Yeah.
abstain on those?
I would, George, since you own
Okay.
property there. Yes, please.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, Karen.
No, that's perfect. So for the resolutions 197 through 208, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved. Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you.
Gonna
All in
roll
favor?
Oh,
You need
no,
a
we
roll
need
call.
Yes,
Need a
roll call, please.
Yeah. Roll call?
Mr. Casabone,
For, but abstention on resolution 19720 through resolution 20420. Thank you.
Mr. Delisandro,
Four.
Mr. Fiola,
Four.
Mr. Halter,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Four.
Mrs. Spence.
4, except I abstain on 19720.
Okay. And then the last resolution this evening is 20920, resolution authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage license for the Borough of Glassboro 2020 to 2021, St. Anthony. So anyone who's a member of St. Anthony's has to abstain from this.
Make a motion for approval.
Can I ask a question on that? Tim, Tim, are you there?
I am.
Andrew-
Yes, Bob.
Andrew made a
Is
motion.
this a necessities thing? Will we have a quorum on a vote for this if everybody from St. Anthony's abstains?
We don't need to invoke the doctrine of necessity. We will have enough non-members to pass this resolution tonight.
Okay, because I have to abstain from that.
That is correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Roll call would be Mr. Casabone,
Abstain?
Mr. Delisandro,
Abstain.
Mr. Fiola,
Abstain.
Mr. Halter,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
4.
Mrs. Spence.
4.
Okay, thank you. And I believe we have 1 minute left. Zeb, and then so the mural project.
So do we know if Lindsay has joined us yet?
We have.
Hello. Are we ready or were we taking a pause?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think we're ready. Are we ready? Zeb?
If Lindsay, is that you?
Yes, it's me. Can you see me?
Yeah, if Lindsay's ready, we can go into the mural project.
Okay,
If
wonderful.
not,
Well,
Can anybody else see her?
Yes.
Melanie can see me. I don't look that good, so it's okay if you can't see me. If you can just hear me, that's fine. I was trying to get like laughter from the crowd. Sorry.
I love
Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't worry. It won't last very long. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much for making the time for us. Tonight, we only have a few minutes to do our presentation, so I'm going to just do a very quick introduction to where we're at. I know this has been a long haul for a lot of us, and thank you to all of you on the council for giving us time earlier in, was it this year? Yes, earlier this year. I don't know what year it is anymore, as well as thank you for all of those who have served on the committee and have participated in different meetings. I'm going to turn it over to Eric and John. I think, John, are you the one who's going to be speaking or tag teaming? John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I need to be able to share my screen. Can I do that? There we go.
Karen, did everybody get a copy digitized, or should we share the screen for people to see? Hope you're on mute.
All governing body received a copy.
Okay, wonderful. Is John able to share his screen to go through it, or is that not feasible?
Hold on, I'm having an issue with it. I'm trying to work through it here.
Maybe while he's doing that, Eric, can you, just because in the interest of time, do you mind just talking about a little bit of the process that we've gone through to get to the design?
Sure. So we came up with the design draft, and then there's been a series of Zoom meetings that we've had throughout the summertime that were pretty open to anybody willing to participate, and we've received a lot of feedback about the design when it comes to, you know, relevant places and things that we need to include and think about. So as a result, I think the new design really reflects that, a lot of the feedback that we've received over those meetings, both big and small. There was also multiple trips that John and I took to start photographing some of the sites that are present day, and including them in the mural as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to chime in right now. I apologize for this. This is telling me to share the screen. I have to restart GoToMeeting. Eric, do you have the ability to share on your end?
Let me see.
Sorry,
no, I
don't.
don't.
I mean, if not, John, you can walk people through the presentation that they physically have in front of them.
Oh wait, hold on. I can share it.
Oh yeah, good. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. So this is the newest version of the design that we have. I want everybody to kind of focus on some of the elements. I know there's been a lot of conversation about the figures that are all the way to the right. I want you to disregard that at the moment, and I would like you to change your focus towards everything else in the meantime. The older version of the design, I think most people here have seen it. This newer version, we started by shrinking the Native American man, the Lenape Indian. He took up a lot of space. He takes up significantly less space. The window section of Holly Bush got moved over to the left a little bit to sort of clear those vents, and then it opened us up to develop the entire right-hand side of the mural. So as you get in close, here's the version of the wall, and the mock-up of the design on the wall. As you get in close, you can see we swapped out images of the Whitney Glassworks to have it be a little more recognizable in the scene that we created there. With Sheba Whitney and Thomas Whitney are a little more integrated into the scene. We included some other places such as the Franklin House and the West Jersey Depot and Old Borough Hall. The map of Ellesmere as it appears in the book. And also the appearance of farmland as it appeared in those early days all make an appearance in this wheel to sort of flesh it out. In addition to actual identifying words, so people who aren't in the know can take a look at the design and understand what it is that they're looking at. In addition to that, we have the intermediate school in Rowan that's flanked on either side of the center of the wheel. One. Here we go. We included the photo of the Civil Rights March that happened. It's our understanding that there's a lot of people still living that appear in this photo from Glassboro. So we sort of view the wall as a timeline of sorts that, and especially this section of the mural that makes its way into present day. So we have they start out as a drawing and then slowly make their way into this sepia tone photograph and into present day. There's a lot of little tiny details that you can find in this mural upon multiple viewings. As I said, we'll get back to this part. Let's shelve the figures for now. As I mentioned before, the details. One of the things that came to us late in the game was including Angelo's Diner and how that's an important part of Glassboro that may have a short lifespan. You know, it might be developed at some point. Nobody knows. So people felt it was important to kind of hold on to the image of that diner, and we snuck it into the phone screen. The mural will include QR codes throughout the design, and these are actually scannable here. If anybody has a smartphone with a QR code reader, they can scan this screen right now and be taken to links of the Glassboro archive and some videos of people giving their testimonials. The content that the codes lead to can be dynamic. It can always be changing if we want it to, or it can point to one specific thing forever. But that's something that we can flesh out as we develop this project, or as the project is being fabricated. That's something that can change over time. I did have a slide, I may have skipped it, that shows exactly what will be done in glass.
Yeah, it's like the fifth, sixth, or seventh slide in there.
Seventh slide in?
Yeah, seventh slide.
Here we go. So in the design, the fountain will be done completely in glass. All of the glass works, the bottles, oh man, the bottles that you see in that half circle, and then the schools will all be done in stained glass mosaic. Right, John, you want to chime in? Is there anything I'm missing?
Yeah, just let's see. We can also touch on just. I mean, you kind of hit it with Angelo's Diner, how we have those very small elements too, because there was a lot of stuff to be incorporated into the design. So we didn't want it to look too cut and pasted. So there's a lot of smaller visual metaphors and references to different things, such as the tree in the background behind the march, and also just the fact that Angelo's Diner was on the phone screen, because one of the things that came about when people were discussing the diner at one of the previous meetings was a real like a sense of intimacy towards that diner, and people talking about it in a very loving way. So to just kind of get that intimate sense, we thought having it on a phone screen, like somebody took a picture of it and they're carrying it with them, it seemed like an appropriate thing to do. So there's a lot of little things that are sneaking their way in, and I think Eric said a little bit ago, a lot of things that people can come back to on the 15th, 16th, 17th time and still be seeing new things. We also have a reference to Corey Clement on the boys' shirt right there. That's another small reference.
As well as the Glassboro softball pin on the school bag.
Yep, softball pin.
So, okay, so when it comes to the figures, what we intentioned, something that we've been talking about this entire time, is that we wanted the scene to refer back to the Native American figure. So when you go through the design, you're seeing the people all the way on the right looking at the history that they've just sort of walked through, that they've passed through. And it was our hope with the figures that there would be some sort of intergenerational conversation happening where it's almost as if one figure is telling these stories to newer people who are maybe, who are growing up and living here, or maybe have just moved here. So there's some sort of interaction that's taking place between those figures. So that's our goal with the figures. The man in the red shirt wasn't a part of the design up until Monday. We were trying in the time that we had to find a suitable replacement. From the feedback that we've gotten, it was our hope to include somebody who may have been of Italian descent in the design as one of those figures. So, but that's a conversation that we're hoping to open up here tonight and hear what people think.
And it was also just to expand on what Eric said in the last meeting, the idea of the intergenerational play, and also one of those people being a teacher and kind of looking as though they're explaining the history or chatting about the history of the area to the kids. So the intent behind that.
Everybody should also have received 2 other copies. Karen copied for everybody. One of them is the presentation images that we gave on Monday, and then another one is with the gentleman wearing the maroon shirt blacked out with the intention that another figure could be placed in that spot. I'd like to point out that aside from the figures on the right, the mural has been overwhelmingly received by the committee. There is just one outlying thing that both John and Eric are acknowledging, and it is on the forefront of their mind, is ensuring that there is Italian American heritage made in very clear as part of this, because we know it is very important to a large number of people in the community. I also spoke with Ed Malandra earlier today, and that was really his feedback as well. So with that, it would be great if we have a few minutes if people have questions. I recognize we don't have an enormous amount of time. And I'd also like to say that the hope is that whatever we take away with today, that Ed has said that next Thursday there's another meeting that we can hopefully bring the design back for final approval. So.
Well, I'll be the first one to speak. The left side I like a lot. This is Tony Fiola. I'm going to critique the right side. I understand your purpose. I don't know if people would look at that and say that's an intergenerational depiction of an older person, instructing the younger people about the left-hand side of the mural. The colors are bad. I don't mean to say bad. The colors are prominent. Your attention is drawn to that. I think. Well, let me back up a minute. What Ed Malandro said is right. The two most prominent in Glassboro historically are the Italian Americans and the African Americans. And I think the Italian American depiction should be similar to the way you depicted the African American depiction, which I'm very happy with, that Civil Rights March. So there, my own personal opinion is you can replace those figures, because I don't know that point gets across. I don't know that, quite frankly, that a religion should be promoted in that picture. At least by an anonymous person. I think Angelo's Diner can be more prominent. I understand what you're saying about intimacy, but Angelo's Diner is a big part of the popular history of Glassboro. I think that whole right side can be redone. The bank building is very prominent. That's a nice piece of architecture. The other pieces of architecture that are also very important to Glassboro are much smaller. Maybe Angelo's can be made a little bigger and put somewhere else. Between that and some depiction of Italian Americans, I think that can fill up the right side.
Do we have other comments for Lindsay and Eric and John?
Yeah, this is George Casabone. I agree wholeheartedly with Tony. I like the mural. I don't agree with the right side. I think the Italian Americans could be put over there somehow. And this is just my opinion. I like the center, but the church there that's on the left by the Indian, maybe suggests maybe putting maybe Angelo's Diner in there to make it more prevalent than what we have on the cell phone. Just my opinion. I know you mentioned the Jersey 30 of Corey Clement. Not too many people are, I hate to say it, are sports fans. I don't think they would recognize that. But I think the Italian Americans, along with the Angelo's Diner, should be more prominent. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
But I like the mural. I think it's great.
Yeah.
This is Danielle Spence. I just was thinking and was given an idea from a good friend about possibly sharing with you folks some pictures from our Italian festival that we have, St. Anthony's Festival, and maybe something those images would possibly fit, because it would be showing community and a celebration, and it might work for us in that regard. So I will dig them up and share them with you as soon as I can.
Anybody else on council?
No.
No? Okay. Well, thank you all. The next steps, I guess, would be come back with something with the corner on the right side and something that shows more prominence for Angelo's. That would be our goal.
Okay. That
Okay,
sounds good.
and there's not a meeting next Thursday. There's a meeting Tuesday, which would be a fast turnaround for you. And then there's a meeting 2 weeks after that on a Tuesday.
I
Or
got
we
it.
have October work session is October 1st.
Okay, then I guess it would be 2 weeks from now that Ed and I were discussing. My apologies on the mistake, but yes. So our goal would be to get something at that point.
Okay, that would be great. Is that good, Mayor? That works?
Thank you all for your time.
Let me ask, should we, I brought up a sensitive subject. Should we not have any churches here or anything else like that?
Who are you asking that, Tony?
I'm asking you generally. I mean, I think I brought up things that a lot of people are thinking about, and I'm the only one who brought it up. And
Well,
that kind of,
if you remember, I agree with you there. I don't know. It's might have been the first church in Glassboro. I don't know, but I think you're distinguishing one religion from the next. I rather see it be substituted with Angelo's Diner. Just my opinion.
anyone else?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Thankfully, we have Eric and John who've been working on projects all over the world in communities. And so we'll take all the feedback, and we hope that what we put back out to you will reflect both what you're saying right now, but also incorporating the other suggestions that you made. And hopefully we'll have an aha moment at the next meeting and you'll all say, yep, this is it. This is what we want. So that's our plan.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time. Have a good evening and stay safe. The storm is coming.
Thank you. You too.
Be well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Deb, just so you know, we have Sean Kelly also.
Okay.
Number 2 on the discussion items. I don't know if you wanted to.
Are you ready, Sean, to talk about, wanted to speak
Sean is
about
on as a caller. I'm not quite sure which caller he is.
Okay.
This is
And I
Mark.
see Eric's still with us too. Right,
Can
Eric,
you-
are you still? There he goes.
Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mark.
Okay, this is Mark. Okay, thanks.
Maybe we should unmute everybody just for Sean to. Sean Kelly?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
JD,
So
do
Sean,
you have him?
Sean, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can
everybody
hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
JD, can you mute everyone but Sean? Perfect.
Okay, John, you wanted to speak with council about some ideas you had for street naming?
Yes. So recently, I'm sure everyone will probably know about the street names that we've had to go over for the 2 new developments in town. And we are, which I would assume or would think that our current list of veterans is running out. So we would probably need to add some more. If anyone has some more names, just let me know, or we can add it to the list. And then obviously they would have to be approved or actually researched and approved. But my idea would be to possibly change the ordinance to add Glassboro Fire, EMS, Police, and also a newest thing I thought of the other day would be maybe the K9s to that list, so we can increase the names on our list for street names if there are needed for any other developments in town. So I just wanted to, obviously we would have to probably think of some parameters on, how long they served, do they still live in town, military, et cetera. I'm sure that can still be worked on, but it was just a general idea of adding some more people to the list. And I have sent out a email, probably mostly everybody. If not, I can still send it out later. A list that I've already started working on.
That, Sean.
I'm sorry?
I did forward that to all governing body.
Okay.
They didn't have a chance to review it yet because it was sent out right before the meeting. So the council really hasn't had a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just some names that I've gathered from the firehouse and the K9 list. I'm waiting for the police to let me know of any other additional people and get a hold of someone from Glassboro EMS. So it was just a preliminary list of names that we would have or possibly have. And then also I sent out a street name change form that we could possibly entertain using, because obviously we would probably use that in a later date, or if someone wanted to do that, just to change a street that already exists, we could possibly use that. But just let me know what you guys think, and we can go from there.
Okay. What kind of timeline are you looking for council to be able to debate and see what sort of changes would be appropriate to the ordinance?
Well, I think, currently for the 2 newer developments in town, we have 3 of 4 names picked. And I'm sure someone may be doing some more research to get that forth if we don't already have it. But unless someone knows of something that's being planned that we're going to need something faster than later, just let me know. But I mean, it doesn't have to be like next week.
Okay.
It could be whenever. You guys obviously can take, I don't know how many meetings it would take, but just let me know. And then if you guys need me to come up with some parameters to add to the list or to change the ordinance, whatever you guys want me to do, or whoever needs to do that, just let me know.
Okay, very good.
Deb, if I could just, I don't know how much of this you're familiar with, or I know all the street names that have gone back and forth, but the ones that we're okay with, that the committee had talked about, was Roland for out for out on Ellis Street, off of Ellis Street. That was one of the names that Sean felt as though was a viable name to put out there, that 911 wouldn't have any kind of issues with that. And a number of members of the family were involved in the military. And then for the High Street Estate, there was Arlotta and Mazzio.
Okay.
So we didn't vote on any of those names. Timmy, do we need to take care of that now?
I'm assuming Mark would say, and everyone else, that we need to get this resolved as soon as possible for the planning and approvals, Mark.
Yes, I had a discussion with the developer yesterday for the Route 322 townhouses, and he would still like to see if one of the names could remain the Handy Farm Lane in honor of the family that owned that parcel. My question to everyone tonight is, since we don't have a second name for the street over at the Penrose project on Ellis Street, could Arlotta be shifted over to there. So then we'd have two names there. And then on the Route 322, remain the Handy Farm Lane as one and the Mazzio as the other. Now here again, that's up to council, since we've been kind of struggling to find the fourth name.
I think
Just an idea,
that
something different than what we've been talking about.
Ms. Miller can speak to this better than I can, but I think that we were trying to stay with someone who was a prominent African American who contributed either with regard to the armed services or contributed considerably to the town. Is that
Yeah, I have
correct?
no problem. Yeah, I agree. No problem with that.
Will there be any, like we thought of out on Ellis and Higgins, is there going to be some kind of community center at the place on 322 that we can name the community center after Handy Farm?
No, we're not going to.
No, unfortunately, no.
You said no, sir?
No,
That's correct.
Building after anybody right now. That's me. That's me talking right now. No parks or no buildings should be named after individuals right at this time.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, there is no community center at the proposed 322 project either, so that makes it easier.
Okay.
I had the name of another veteran. It was Warren Howe. Before he passed, he lived next door to the VFW. I don't know if any of you know him.
No.
I have to get some information. I'm looking in my book. Of course, I can't find it as quickly as I need it. But
How would you spell the last name? H-O-W-E?
Howell.
Oh, okay.
It's a shame we couldn't do Mr. Tucker because he contributed so much to the town as far as serving on the housing authority board and the planning board. So he served on a lot of things as far as being active in the community, even though we couldn't use him for his military service. But I'm told there's a paper street named Tucker or something.
Yes. But there was also a
name of the paper street.
Additionally,
Yeah,
Sean
we could rename the paper street, but
Sure.
I thought, but my question is to Sean, is there another Tucker Street around in Williamstown?
I believe I sent that email out. Yes, that's unfortunately there's a Tucker Street in Williamstown.
I have a question, Sean, and I know I'm a hardhead, okay?
Okay.
And I know they're probably trying to correct this problem, but there's so many streets that in different towns in Gloucester County that have the same name. So I'm assuming when they call to respond, okay, let's just say Main Street. Do they say Main Street in Monroe Township or Main Street in Glassboro? How do they call on that?
They can attempt to do that, but the flip side to that would be if they didn't get out the right direction on Main Street or South Main Street, there's no way to verify their location by cell phone, which is what primarily everyone is using these days to call for help. So that would be the major concern, actually secondary to there being more than one. If someone calls from their cell phone, you can't necessarily verify their location by their address and or their cell phone is going to be the problem. So I can't speak on behalf of the Gloucester County 911 coordinator, but I'm sure you can probably reach out to him, but if it's something that's similar and it's around the neighboring town for us, he supposedly, and I don't have that, supposedly he has a New Jersey 911 law that he can not approve a street name.
Okay.
So, but I don't have a copy of that 911 law or how that works.
I'm just trying to say, because I'm on the same page, I think, as Anna's on with Tucker. He's done a lot. Now, there's a paper street, Tucker, so I'm assuming that's okay. So if we do away with that, can we move that Tucker to Robert Tucker on out there in Ellesmere, or I mean, Ellis Street? Can we do that or no?
If you guys approve it and then it goes to the 911 coordinator, it sounds like he could not approve it.
Okay.
Because of the Tucker Street in Williamstown, right?
Yeah, but I understand that, and I know where Sean's coming from, and I appreciate all he does. But if there's and I'm a hard head, okay? If there's a Tucker Street already that's paper street, okay, that was obviously it should have been approved. So just take that paper street name away and make it and put it out there on Ellis Street, and we'll rename the paper street to ABC Lane or something. I'm trying to get, what I'm trying to do is get Robert Tucker's name out there. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, there's be a problem if there's already a Tucker in Glassboro and one in,
Right.
what is it, Williamstown? Well, it already exists.
Right.
So all we're doing is switching that. We're not creating any problem, number one. Number two, we call it Robert Tucker Boulevard or whatever. So there really shouldn't be a problem because there's already a Tucker in Glassboro.
Right.
Yeah, the current Tucker Street is just a gravel road. I don't even know why it's a street, to tell you the truth. It's off of Zane Street. It's the dirt road that runs parallel to the railroad tracks. So I don't even know how that came about, to tell you the truth.
There's a lot of roads like that. There's a lot of roads throughout Glassboro like that.
So then does mayor and council want us to go through the process and submit the formal request for changing that paper street and requesting the Robert Tucker Boulevard or street or however?
Well, I'll give you George Costone's opinion. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay. So Tim, then what process do we need to follow? We can do the request.
It sounds like a motion to approve and submit to the county for final approval is what I'm sensing from Sean.
Okay.
Tim, can we do both names in one?
Oh,
Can
I'm
we
sorry.
submit both names in one?
Sure.
Can we do both names in one motion first?
Sure. I mean, we do by the development, by the project, if you like.
Roland and Tucker.
Sure. Yep.
I would like to, I'm sorry, I would like to see Anna make that motion if I could.
Wow. I'd like to make a motion that we name the two streets in the Ellesmere senior housing, the Penrose project, Roland Way, and the other after Robert Tucker.
I'll second it.
And I think, and also that the borough would agree to change the existing paper street to some other name other than Tucker, so that 911 is aware of that, right?
Okay.
Okay. Then do we have to do roll call or all in favor, Tim?
All in favor is fine.
Okay. All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone need to abstain or no, Timmy?
But not unless they believe they have a reason to abstain. I didn't hear any, right? Anyone opposed to it?
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to address the other development too while we're at it to finalize that. Yeah.
Yes.
So same action at this point. Sean, have you cleared Arlotta and Mazzio at this point?
Yes, I believe I sent that out. That one so far, from the research I did with our computer at work, that wasn't going to be a problem.
Okay.
But once again, I can't speak for the county 911 coordinator because, I mean, I just work there, but I can't speak for him. But from the research I did in the computer, that did not seem to be a conflict in our area.
And are we concerned at all about what the point that Mark Brunemer raised?
I think that it's not our problem what the developer may or may not agree to with the seller of the land versus the borough's right to establish street names. We trump that issue. I mean, that might be an issue he has with the seller, but the borough is the entity that names streets by our ordinance.
Okay. So then is it the same process, Tim? A motion, a second, all in favor for that development?
That would be
so
correct,
that would be Arlotto and Mazzio, the two streets. So
someone moves that motion, yes.
What was the name? I thought it was some kind of way or something.
I'm not
Our
so sure
Two
we,
names were Mazzio and Arlotta.
I don't know that we put streets, roads, or ways on
No, I
them.
thought it was different. I didn't think it was a lot. I knew it was Mazzio. Wasn't there another name?
That was Mark's mention of the owner of the property,
Right.
Handyway.
Andy.
No, Anna referred to a name. What was the name you referred to, Anna, besides Tucker, Robert Tucker?
Roland Way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, this is Mark. A question for Sean. Does the 911 coordinator establish whether it's a street, road, boulevard, lane, or way? How does that category get established, or is it up to the borough to pick?
I believe I spoke with you or him. No, I spoke with him that he usually leaves that up to the developer on what they call the street. Because I'm sure, I believe there's definitions for how they are specifically run, one's a dead end, one's a court, et cetera. I believe he usually leaves that up to the architect and or developer on what it will end up being called.
Okay. So for the motion tonight for Mazzio and Arlotta, then it can be whatever, Mazzio Drive, Mazzio Road, Mazzio Boulevard, whatever you want to call it. And also, with respect to George, I think we had a conversation previously at another meeting about another name that was on the veterans list also, trying to put it in there. And that one also had a conflict with the 911 coordinator. So that's why Arlotta came up for tonight.
Yeah.
So I think we probably should clarify tonight what you would prefer the street or name, the boulevard be associated with each of the names so that we can submit that at the same time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't hear,
Mazzio.
do we have a name for Tucker? Was it a street? Was it Robert Tucker Street or Avenue, or was there anything we said specific? I don't recall.
No.
Why don't we
had mentioned
because that further distinguishes it from another Tucker Street or anything like that. Robert Tucker Boulevard should make it a little more unique.
Okay.
That's cool.
So that motion is amended, Tony, to specify Robert Tucker Boulevard. Is there a second to Tony's motion?
Yeah, that sounds fine. And is everyone okay with Roland Way, or I don't know what you wanted to do, Roland Street?
I like Roland Way. I think that's good.
Yep.
All right.
Sean, is there an issue with the two names? Why do I remember that?
Which two names? You mean Robert Tucker?
Using a first and a second name.
I thought that was part of the ordinance that you can't have so many letters, but I mean, I'm sure there's probably ways around that, I would assume, but
I'm sure.
Well, didn't we make it Dr. Leo McCabe Boulevard?
We did.
Yeah.
We did that.
Good point.
I didn't have anything to do with that, so I don't know anything about that.
No, I'm not accusing you, Sean. Believe me, I'm in enough trouble with you.
Boulevard it is.
We
also have Fred Tartaglione as well, and then the one behind the police station here that they just changed. So I mean, I'm sure whatever could be done to take care of all that.
Okay. So can we have an amended motion? Do we need to do another all in favor? Or
we do. No? Yes, we do. We do.
Okay, so we had Anna, did you make the amendment to the motion?
I didn't, but I will.
Okay, and that is that it's Roland Way and Robert Tucker Boulevard.
Yes.
Yes.
And then did you want to second that, Councilman Fiola?
Yeah, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And then we need a
right,
now motion on and discussion on the other two streets. Yeah.
What do you want to call Massio Street? Do you want to call it Massio
Bar.
A Street?
That's what I was thinking too.
I kind of agree with Joe D. I like Mazzio Avenue.
Mazzio Avenue. Okay. And Arlotta Way? Arlotta.
Everybody gets their way, huh? Why don't you just keep an avenue?
Can I just ask one question? It's Sean.
Yes.
Hi, Sean.
Should we, by chance, get a list and the definitions of the streets before it gets changed after you guys make the approvals, just in case? Or check with a developer to see if there is a list?
How about,
Or
meanings of streets and roads versus boulevards and avenues, whether it's accurate or right or not, but there are things online about what designates certain streets typically.
Yeah, I like that suggestion.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I think that's a good suggestion. If there is some sort of
Protocol.
science behind whether you name a street, a road, an avenue, it might be best to check and see if that is the case.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
So at this point, I would assume you guys are just going to approve the names and then just find out the suffix afterwards?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
well, the council has said what they would like after it. So I think once we check to see if it qualifies under that category, if it qualifies, then we can leave that avenue, boulevard, or way.
Yep.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
How about
All
Arlotta?
right, so do we have a motion for Mascio preferably Avenue and Arlotta preferably Avenue?
You're going to do both of them Avenue?
I'll make a motion for
Just
that.
do the original name, not the ending of it at this point, so we can adjust accordingly,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
All right. Did you make them? So you have a motion and a second, and then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then Sean, council will consider your request or your suggestion about emergency responders, possibly opening up the naming for emergency responders too that have had significant impact in the borough.
Okay. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. So should we go through the discussion items now? We've kind
Yes,
of bounced
ma'am.
it. Okay. Karen, do you want to take vacancies on boards and commissions?
Sure, I would love to take vacancies on boards and commissions. We only have one opening. It's on the planning board, and I do have a resume that I would like to send out to everyone. Mayor, I think I sent it to you. Are you okay with me forwarding it to everyone?
And that is with regard to the planning board, you're saying?
Yes, sir. I believe that I sent you Mrs. Hayward's resume.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, you could forward that to council, yes.
Forward it to governing body. Okay. And then if it's okay with you, I'll put a resolution on the next meeting, on the 22nd meeting, and we can discuss it and then vote on it then. Is that all right, Mayor?
Yes, that works for me.
Okay. All right. So, and then I had one other item, I believe, under communications. Deb, is it okay with you if I go into Halloween?
Yes, please do, Karen.
Okay. So Halloween is quickly approaching, and I don't usually make a big to-do over this, but because there's COVID-19 going on right now, we haven't heard anything from the governor with regard to Halloween. Are you okay with sticking with our regular hours for curfew that we've had for, I don't even know how many years?
And Halloween is on a Saturday this year.
Yes, yes, it is.
And we do know that trunk or treat was canceled, so
yes,
what impact that might have. Karen, just remind us, what are the hours, the general curfew hours for Halloween?
So I believe, hold on one second, I have it right here. Sorry about that. I thought I had it right here.
3 to 8?
Yeah, I think it's 3 to 8.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 to 8, and it's the day before Halloween, or the 2 days prior to Halloween, and then Halloween itself.
Okay.
Did you, and on the advertising also, did you want me to put something like, be safe, make sure that you wear your mask and that
Yeah.
type of thing.
But I think it would be a good idea. Does council think so? Just as a reminder.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody's okay with the 3 to 8, sticking with what we've done in prior years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, we have County Spur neighborhood improvements. Clark, are you still on the line?
I am.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to brief council on that topic?
sure. Ed had asked me to come on here and just give you a brief overview. We had a conference call with a resident from the area out there on Isabella Drive. Raised some general concerns that I think the governing body's heard before and is looking into with the traffic and safety out there with the building in the spur. But in addition to that, what Ed wanted me to bring up was there was a discussion on sidewalks out in that neighborhood and lack thereof. There have been several houses built out there in the last few years, and the newer homes have installed sidewalks for the most part, but they tend to be sidewalks that don't go anywhere. They might go 20 feet and then it's the property line that it ends. And the resident that we had the discussion with was concerned and maybe wanted the borough to look at whether or not sidewalk installation throughout that general area would be a good idea. So he wanted me to bring that to your attention. And the other thing that had come up during the conversation was, and it goes along the idea of an identity for the neighborhood. She was wondering whether or not if the neighbors got together, whether the borough would be willing to entertain some kind of development sign or a sign right at Peace Avenue where it goes off of the new spur, kind of recognizing the neighborhood back there, whatever acres or the Ellesmere area, whatever we refer to it, just as an introduction to the neighborhood and basically to let people know that you're getting off the county spur and you're actually entering a neighborhood, and maybe it would be a reminder.
Just to make sure that
They were the two main things Ed wanted me to bring to your attention.
Okay. So again,
I can't show them to you.
so the sort of welcome to this is our neighborhood area sign.
Correct. So very similar to other developments that when they're built, they put signs up. Obviously, this is an older established neighborhood, older established section of town. It's being energized with some new housing going in there. And I think the feel is that they want some kind of identity out there again.
Would this be something that the borough would be responsible for maintaining and paying for and all that?
I would imagine those details would have to be worked out. The piece of ground that would be, I think, most appropriate if something like that would happen is borough property. So I'm not sure how that would work. That's down the road, whether or not, we think it's an idea.
I think it's a great idea. However, there's other aspects of it that come to my head. Just recently, I was approached by another neighborhood to replace their sign that had fallen down and was in disrepair. And so that's something to consider. I mean, there's a lot of neighborhoods, so we have to think about that. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I like it. But the schematics of doing it have to be really hashed out. That's all.
So if we're doing it for one neighborhood, then what do we do for the other neighborhoods? We should be consistent in what we're doing for all of the neighborhoods is what I'm hearing today.
Does that area have a neighborhood name? I know, like, we have Lakeside, we have other areas of town. Does this area, does it have a name?
Only thing I'm familiar with is Ellesmere.
You have Chestnut Ridge.
Yeah.
80 acres. But like the Chestnut Ridge, they put their sign up. They got together. They have a a neighborhood
The signs are
organization
nothing, really.
and it's a sign, right?
The signs are nothing. It's just that it doesn't have a name to it. Neighborhood. If it don't have a name, you just don't make up names. This neighborhood's this now, right?
Right, right.
The other developments like Autumn Ridge, are they signs that were put up by the development, or is that something that the borough put up?
By the developer,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. They were
It
put up by
almost seems like something you want to talk to the historic people about to see what their thoughts on it.
I can bring it up at our next meeting, but I mean, we've always known that area to be what Anna's saying, Ellesmere. It's the Ellesmere neighborhood.
Right.
Or as also is referenced to as 80 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Acres in the lawns.
The lawns, yeah, and so, I mean, that's up to what, you know, I guess, if the neighborhood wants to form some type of, you know, neighborhood group to talk about it, and I mean, that's not something, you know, you just go slapping signs on something if everybody's not in agreement.
Right.
There's a lot of process here that has to be worked out, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So this sounds like something that would be a work in progress. Clark or Ed would get back to the resident and let her know that council spoke about it and these were the questions, and see what kind of feedback she gave us, and if it really was a group in the neighborhood that was looking to do it, or if it's more specifically one person suggesting it. And then Clark can get back to council and give those answers. That sound what you want to do?
Sounds feasible to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry? Yeah,
Yeah.
good? Okay. All right, Clark. Do you want to, while we have Clark on the line, should we also let him do his update on Martin Luther King? No.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed that. Should we have Clark do his Martin Luther King Center update as well? He has some information for council on that.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We were asked, Buildings and Grounds Department was asked to look at the Martin Luther King Center and doing some improvements out there. We initially had gone out with a list that was put together by, I guess, the Board of Trustees out there at the Martin Luther King Center. And looking at their list and going through the building, it looked as if the project was more of a, you have to kind of do it all at once because one thing automatically leads to the other. You can't do the HVAC without doing the electric. Can't do the electric without doing the insulation in the walls and so on. So with the way that looked, we kind of pulled back and talked to Ed about and the mayor about what it would cost to do kind of an overall rehabilitation. And then after that, it was brought up that maybe we just, one of their main concerns seems to be the kitchen and the fact that there's no cooking facilities in there. And is there a way with what's already in this year's capital budget, could we facilitate cooking facilities and bring it up to code? So we looked at that, and that would require a hood system to be put in over top of some type of stove that would be supplied. To do that, there's some cabinet and countertop work that would have to be done. And obviously, it would kind of be silly not to do the walls that are at least going to be involved. There's $15,000 currently in the capital budget for that, for some repairs at that building. We would probably absorb all of that to put a hood system in there and fix up that one area to make room for a stove. So that would be the most we could do this year, if that's the direction the governing body wanted us to go. The overall renovation to include pretty much everything else that they have in their wish list for renovations, it's probably Mark Gismondi from Buildings and Grounds estimates the total project would be around $150,000 to $200,000.
Oh my God.
It'd be cheaper to knock it down and bring in a modular.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mark, are you still on the line? Mark? No.
It was Mark Ismondi that was there with us in the buildings and grounds. Mark Brenner was.
Okay. So Councilman Casabon had a mention that would it make more sense to put something more modular in there, and then that would be up to code and have everything that was designed for what the current needs of the center are?
Yeah.
Or should we go ahead and do what Clark can get done this year so that the building is usable for the residents that are using the center and have requested for at least some kind of cooking facility to make it more usable for their purposes? Is that the question you're asking, Clark?
Yeah, you came in broken up. It's just an idea. I thought when we talked about this a while ago that the building was in pretty bad shape. Is that correct?
Yeah, $60. Yeah.
I think the bones of the building are the walls are in good shape. It's more the mechanicals, the HVAC, the wiring, the bathrooms are not handicap accessible bathrooms, so they don't meet that code. The doors, you can see light when you're inside looking out, so it's not very well insulated. The windows are not very well insulated. They have window unit air conditioners where they took out sections of the window and put them in. So yeah, it's the bones are pretty good from what we can see, but it's the guts, it's the mechanicals that need to be upgraded.
Could we possibly explore the clean energy program with the BPU about getting some of the HVAC stuff looked at, and lighting and those type of things like we did for the Boys and Girls Club just recently? With the BPU, they pay for a lot of it, and then maybe get some sponsors to help, with the rest, for some donations. We just did that with the Boys and Girls Club out in Glassboro. And in Paulsboro, we made significant changes there. They changed the whole HVAC system from oil to gas, and I mean, just there's money out there that we could use instead of borrow money. If
what are they actually doing at the center anyway? Are they renting that hall to anything? What do they got financial statements and stuff? What are they doing? Whoever's using it.
I can speak to that. Generally, the way the building gets used is if someone wants to have a birthday party or a baby shower, like the Rowland sisters. Every year they have a Mother's Day brunch. So it's used for just little community things. There's no alcohol permitted on the premises, but it's just been a venue that has been used in the community for years. And I don't know what happened to the stove, because when I was growing up and we used to go there, it was a recreational center. But I don't know what happened to the stove and everything that used to be in there. But now when people, what they do is they rent it from Miss Austin. I think it's like $80 to rent, and she uses the funding to pay the electricity, from what I'm told. But whenever someone does utilize the building, they have to cook their food and then bring it in and set it up with the Bunsen burners. You're not able to prepare anything fresh at the building. So that's one of the major concerns. But if here's a question I have: if it's a borough-owned building, how did it get to the condition that it is now? It's never been monitored.
If I may speak, Anna, in my investigations and to bring everybody else up to speed with regards to this building, with all the redevelopment and the the need and the necessity that everybody sees that we need kids to have safe places to go and places to recreate. Knowing about the MLK Center and what it was set up to do, and it's been used. I investigated going in, and since it is a borough-owned building, seeing what we could do to bring it up to modern-day standards. I believe if I had to speculate, because I can't speak on it because I haven't been in and out of that building for years and years, but because it was maintained by Miss Alston and her committee, it was just they kept that building running. They weren't generating funds really to upgrade or modernize it throughout the time, and so it was suiting their needs, and they were managing to pay the bills because they were running it. But by needing to upgrade it or wanting to upgrade it to make it more accessible to all the children and all the residents of Glassboro, and make it better for those that are already using it, that's what started that ball rolling. What I'm hearing about, like as Clark alluded to, as far as what Mark and that crew found when they went out there, that the best way to fully renovate it in a perfect world would be to do it all in one shot. Meaning, don't do the windows this time and come back and do the electric next time. It's knock it all out in one shot, if it at all possible. When I did bring this issue to the committee at the MLK Center and then to the borough, I made it very clear to all parties involved that this is a very early on. This is a thought that I had. It's going to take some time to come up with some information, the numbers, what we need to do, how we were going to be able to do it. And I was very careful not to put us on any sort of timeline or commit us to anything that we would otherwise able to provide. Then you have the pandemic situation that comes through, and it kind of put everything back in code with budgetary restraints and things like that, which is where we are today. So we have a faction of people, the committee that's running the MLK Center now, that is geared up and excited about trying to get this building renovated. As am I, hopefully that we can get it renovated at some point in time. But we're also bound by, again, budgetary restraints, and we really don't know, where the budget's going to take us throughout the rest of the year, depending on how this pandemic pans out for the remainder of the year and further on to that. So that kind of, in a nutshell, is where we're at, or my understanding about it. But I've been in contact with that committee and have been conveying that information to them, letting them know that this is still something that we're very interested in doing and very willing to do it if we are able to do. But we will do whatever we are able to do. Again, not committing ourselves to anything in particular until we have all of our I's dotted and all of our T's crossed.
Well, that's one of our buildings, and I can't believe like it got to that point, and either we weren't told about it or we just neglected to do anything. We should do something about it. If it has good bones, then we should find in our budget to do it, either in a 2-year project or 1 year, whatever we got to do. We should fix it.
Right, and that's really, thank you, Joe. I'm sorry, thank you, Joe, because that's really kind of the message that I was trying to convey. It was kind of a, everything was running, apparently, I had to assume, was running very smoothly up until I thought of the idea to renovate it, because they were holding events there. They were holding their meetings and things, events of that nature, and getting those paid. So the building, I mean, it's not dilapidated. It's just, that building, you walk in and you think you're in the 70s again, and you're not in 2020. And the infrastructure within that speaks to that as well. So, I mean, the building can be used, but it is being underutilized because of, you know, you have kitchen issues, you have bathroom issues, you have HVAC issues. So it's a very good structure that can be utilized and be an asset to the borough, provided it gets brought up to speed, if you will.
So I guess based on what I'm hearing, what I would suggest would be let Buildings and Grounds kind of put together some pricing and try and build it into their capital budget request for 2021, and then at that point, you know, council will see it and be able to see if it's something they can afford to do. It's going to take us a while. We're actually some of our money we have this year, we would have to actually put out, because some of these drawings are going to have to be done professionally for the electric and things like that, to make sure that it's all bringing it up to code. We should be able to do most of the pricing out ourselves based on what we see, but some of it will need steel drawings for the work.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the way the governing body would like us to proceed.
I think we should do it.
Yes.
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 Roger that.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Clark.
Thank you, Clark.
What's next, guys?
Deb, I think the last item on, I'm not sure if Deb's screen is frozen. The last item that we have under discussion is Emmanuel Baptist Church, the celebration, and the PAL barbecue. Deb, I believe this item is yours. Okay, Deb seems to be having some technical difficulties. Should we, how about if we proceed to the public portion? Does that sound okay, Tim?
Makes sense. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll proceed to the public portion, and then hopefully when that's finished, Deb will get back on and she'll be able to update us on that item.
Make a motion to open it up to the public.
Second.
Okay. Okay, JD, would you open the, okay. Tim, can you give your little talk that you do?
Motion.
Last item. Yeah, can you move it farther away? Yeah.
So we are now, the meeting's been open to the public.
So, the meeting is now open to the public. In lieu of Deb having some issues with her connection, the meeting is now open to the public. If anyone wishes to address mayor and council at this time, please do so by stating your name and place of residence. Please understand, all callers, that we will do our best. I see we have a number of callers on the line, so we will do our best to try to get through everyone and try to single each other out. Time floor is now open for anyone from the public who wishes to address mayor and council.
I was thinking of about 100 of them for the second wave. What's the ninth?
201 Kentucky Avenue, Jersey.
So are we seeing anyone?
Okay, it's been, yes, thank you. There's been a number of, been some time. If no one from the public, mayor and council, time
Back.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can we mute everybody else except for the actual caller that's talking?
Is this birthday the 20th tomorrow? And for the
Is someone trying to speak right now?
we've been singing to you about.
Somebody's playing with the phone, sounds like, Mayor. But this is Pastor Calvin Collins from 201 Kentucky Avenue.
Yes, Pastor.
And if I heard,
Yeah, Memorial Day.
I don't know if this is working.
Yeah, Pastor, we can hear you. You can speak.
Okay, great. First of all, I want to thank the Mayor and Council President and council members for giving us this time to express our concerns. I want to thank you for considering Mr. Bobby Tucker, who's a good friend of mine, the Roland, naming streets after them, and for your expression of supporting the MLK Center, which was built by African American students in high school from Glassboro. So it's an historical building as well. So I want to commend you on that. My concern that I have tonight is I live in Ellesmere, and there's a new boulevard that's being built, John McCabe Boulevard, Leo McCabe Boulevard, and what the implications are. What is it going to do to our community? I spoke to Mayor Wallace earlier, and pretty much didn't get a lot of answers other than it's the county. Our concern is, the children's ability to walk and play in our neighborhood, ride bikes in our neighborhood, the truck traffic, motor vehicles. It's already a mess. Motor vehicles riding throughout the neighborhood, more noise, more crime when people start riding back here and discover this neighborhood. Right now, these kids leave their bikes out in the yard and all this kind of stuff. The types of businesses that are going to be in our neighborhood. Are they going to be toxic? Are they going to, cause cancer and all that kind of stuff? Health hazards. And so, in a nutshell, it will change the quality of our life. Now, I only have a few minutes to speak. We're asking for, because of the traffic, and I don't have any kids here. Me and my wife, we do our thing. We're good. Our kids are grown, but there are a lot of young kids in this area, a lot new mothers with babies that are growing up, families, cars zipping up and down, and trucks now. These construction trucks riding all through the neighborhood. I'm asking for speed bumps to slow these cars down. Up on Peace Lane, Martin Luther King, and Kentucky. Those are the thoroughfares. They're riding real fast. So those are my concerns. And I'm asking the mayor and the council to work with us. We also want to meet with the mayor, the council, any county members to find out and have some transparency about what's going on in our neighborhood. I spoke real fast because I don't know how much time I have, but in a nutshell, that's what I'm concerned about. That's what my neighbors are concerned about. There are a number of them on this call.
Yeah, Pastor, thank you very much. And like I was speaking to you on the phone today, I expressed to you that myself and the members of council that are here on this call are all very much concerned about the well-being and welfare of all the residents in Glassboro. And with this particular project, all the residents that live back in the Ellesmere and Acres section. But with regards to the operation of that project and the things that are going on with that project, that is the county project, and questions or issues that anyone may have with regards to what is going on or how it will affect certain people or areas would have to be addressed to the county. The county would need to address those. That being said, as I alluded to you on the phone today, we as the governing body have done our best to do our due diligence to bring any concerns that we may think that would be the concerns of those residents back in that section to the county when this project first was brought to the table. But again, and we can continue to do that so long as we hear what those concerns are. But the county, being the runners of that project, need to hear from you as well.
Well, who in particular should we address with our concerns?
My initial suggestion would be to contact your county freeholder.
All right. And as I said to you earlier, I think it would be fantastic if you would be able to express what you know in a meeting with our community. If they hear from our leaders, our elected officials, as opposed to on the phone and myself, I think it would do a great deal of good. So if we could arrange for some type of community with the people here in Ellesmere and our elected officials, and we can take the necessary steps, so we enjoy a good quality of life back here. I think that would be good. Hopefully we can get that done.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to address mayor and council at this point?
Yes, I would. Diane Blizzard, 718 Kentucky Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I speaking?
Yes, you are.
My concern is with all the traffic that's coming back here. Now, I live right at the cul-de-sac. Now, you put up a fence so nobody could get back to the water tower. There's no lighting whatsoever at the cul-de-sac. I mean, there's people already that sit back there all through the night. I mean, I go out there. I mean, I pick up trash. I mean, I pick up dirty condoms. I pick up all that stuff, beer bottles, all that. And my concern is I don't know what people are doing out there all night long. And I'm back here in the dark, no street light at all. So my thing is, why can't a street light be put at the cul-de-sac so that way people don't want to come and sit there all night long? I fear for my safety.
Ma'am, what was your street address again, please?
718 Kentucky Avenue. I live right at the cul-de-sac by the water tower.
We could certainly look into that issue for you.
Yes, it's really a nightmare back here with all the and the past right with the people just speeding up and down the streets. It's terrible. And I have grandkids that's living with me now. And I'm concerned for their safety, for the people that are racing up and down the street. And then they have blackout windows you can't even see in the car, and and I'm a single person now. I mean, I lost my fiance. He had passed away, and now I'm here, and and my dogs are barking because people sit out there all night long. Now I had asked a year ago for the police just to come around every once in a while. They did for maybe a week or two, but then after that, they don't even come back here no more.
I appreciate this, ma'am, and we will bring all of this to the attention of those parties. We'll bring it to the police officers' attention and see what we can do about getting that. I appreciate all of this information, and we will address those issues. Thank you.
Yes, because with all the traffic that's going to be coming back here, and then everybody's going to realize, hey, there's a dark area. I mean, I'm already dealing with it as it is now. And my concern is it's going to be really overwhelming at that point when people realize, you know, dark areas, they can drink and whatever they're doing back there. I don't know.
Right. That's it.
But anyway, I do appreciate you listening to what I have to say.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate you reaching out to us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public to address?
I'm Tanya Hart, and I live at 411 Kentucky Avenue. And I do want to commend, this is my first time on the phone listening and how you take care of things. And I'm really pleased to hear how you care about Glassboro. So I just want to give you a little shout out that it was really nice to hear.
Thank you.
But I'm back here on the acres as well. I've been back here for a while, and this is a really, really nice neighborhood. The thing I have concerns about, yes, it is that road, and what's happening is because when you come from, I guess it's Peace and all the way back, there's no stop sign, so it's just a straight shot. You shoot down real quick. And we are seeing a little bit more traffic back here because of the construction and what's going on. And I'm not sure, because the road is leading back to the hospital, are we going to hear like a lot of ambulance traffic? In the summertime, we have trouble with dirt bikes. You can hear that because there's like a lot of straight runs in our neighborhood. So we get a lot of dirt bikes that come back here. That's loud. And then, you know, we're starting to see a little bit more people out. Like my car was broken into, me and my husband's, you know, and we just, you know, just getting concerned because it was quiet. And sometimes when it's a shift in the neighborhood, you know, you see more houses going up and you see, you know, you want to do this and do that. And it does change the neighborhood. So, you know, we just want to still be heard back here, and people just don't take advantage of our neighborhood because we have a lot of land back here. And it seems like, you know, Glassboro is shrinking. But, you know, I do have concerns because we do have a lot of kids, and you notice things now that the COVID, so everybody's out, everybody's walking, bike riding, and the neighborhood is changing, and I just want to keep it safe. We have little kids with autism back here, and there's all kinds of children that like to play, and I just want to keep our neighborhood safe. So I just wanted to, you know, put my voice in it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And we want the same thing as well. And I encourage you to continue to follow up. We will follow up on these issues as well, and continue to reach out and communicate with us so that we can do our best to serve you. Thank you.
I have a concern because a few years ago, there was a notice that was sent out to the residents saying that this area back here was kind of like part of the watershed and that you couldn't do too much building. And now to hear that this road is coming through here, I don't agree. I don't agree for some of the reasons of what the people have previously stated. And I don't agree because if this area is an asset to the community in terms that it catches water, then why are we abusing it by trying to put an office park or to put light industry back here? I feel that this community needs to be preserved just the way it is. Glassboro doesn't have many open areas. I think it should be kept as a haven for our children.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Anyone else from the public wishes to address the guy?
Yes, my name is Nancy Garlic.
Her spirit will go there, but her body will be looking.
I'm sorry?
My name is Mrs. and I live on 701 Texas Avenue. And
in New York. It was like this.
We got so many people on it, that's why it's cracked.
If everyone could mute their phones, it would be very helpful. If you mute it on your own side until you were ready to talk, that would be very helpful.
We are.
Okay. Floor is open. Anyone wishes to speak to Mayor and Council?
My name is Deanna Garlic, and I live on 220 for Peace Lane.
Your name
And
again, ma'am? Sorry.
Deanna Garlick, Deanna.
Thank you, ma'am.
20 Peace Lane. And I like to address a few of the things that was mentioned. I understand that it is a county road and it's already established that it is going to be here, but maybe some of the things that we can address, which Pastor Calvin brought up, was could we have speed bumps on Peace Lane, which is where I live, and I do have a small child, Kentucky and Martin Luther King Boulevard, because they are, straight runs and people do go very fast on those roads. And if we could also have speed limit signs, which right now, maybe we need to lower the speed limit on those roads, because we do have, with more houses, we have a lot more children in the neighborhood and children riding their bikes. I know my daughter does at 4 years old, and I walk or run with her as she rides her bike. I'm not an advocate of having sidewalks. I think that for this community, it's not the best idea. I do understand of the ordinance that is in place for all new construction to have sidewalks. However, I'd like to maintain the fact that this is a community where the houses are slightly further apart, which comes to another issue that I want to address. Some time ago, it was changed that a buildable lot is now 75 by 150. It used to be 100 by 150. I would like to ask if we could please take it back to what it was before and make a buildable lot 100 by 150, so that we can maintain the integrity of our community, of the houses not being too close together, because I think that also would help with the flow of water. We have a high water table in this community, and we don't want to disrupt it any more than what we have to. So I think that needs to be considered anytime that anything is going to be built in this community. That definitely needs to be considered as far as the runoff. Again, I said I live on Peace Lane, and behind me there is a water retention. It fills heavily with water. I have to call the state of New Jersey every summer to spray for mosquitoes, and it's very bad. So I think we need to consider that people live back here, and we don't want to disrupt, our lifestyles or quality of life any more than what is necessary, especially in a negative way. As far as a sign for our community, this community is known primarily as Ellesmere, and it's also known as the Acres. If you look on our tax map, it will say Delphi Estates. So those are probably the three top names for this community. But the people who live here, we call this community Ellesmere, and we call this community the Acres. So those are probably the top two names. But I'm not opposed to the name that's on the tax map of Delphi Estates, as long as one of the other two names are a part of that sign, which is Ellesmere or the Acres. I did hear some great things that you covered today in the meeting. I can't address everything because I know the time is short, but I did want to say one thing in reference to the Martin Luther King Center. You mentioned earlier that there's a mural going up in Glassboro, and I correct that the mural is about civil rights.
The mural is going to be a collaboration of all things representing Glassboro, a collage.
Okay, because the Martin Luther King Center for African Americans is a huge staple in the community. I know it's probably not being used much due to COVID. However, even in the condition that it is in, the African American community in Glassboro and surrounding areas have used that building several times in a month or even within a week. That building gets used. It's used for the things that were mentioned earlier, but also for funerals. When someone has a repast, it's used quite often for that purpose. And countless purposes. So I think that it would be a great idea to have a picture of that on the mural. And also someone had mentioned about a church being taken off. I think that's not the best idea, because if we're thinking about the African American community, a church is a place of a safe haven. And it probably is for many other people too. But it is huge in the African American community that you can find refuge in the church. And I think that needs to be a part of the mural, even if it's in a smaller way, because obviously I can't see the mural, so I can't speak to the size. I can't speak to the different colors that you talked about, but I really would like to see that. But mostly my concern and my reason for being at the meeting tonight is about the road that is here and still coming. And yes, there are a lot of huge trucks going up and down our street every day. A lot of us are now working from home, so we get to see that, we get to hear. It's a lot of banging. My whole house literally shakes when the work is being done. I'm at my desk and at my laptop, and I'm feeling shaking because of the work that's being done. So we're not really excited about the office part and the future of what you plan to put there as far as anything that will be a large construction project. Not a fan of it at all.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Garland. We've
Garlic,
run out.
like the spice, garlic.
Oh, Garland,
Sorry.
I apologize,
Sorry,
ma'am.
Mary.
Ms. Garland,
Sorry.
thank you very much for your input. Your concerns will be addressed. I can assure you of that. Thank you very much for your input.
Mayor, if I could just let everyone know, if anyone is interested in seeing the mural project, they're more than welcome to come to Borough Hall to the clerk's office, and I have a copy of that.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Hi,
Okay.
my name is Mrs. Birch, and I'm on 701 Texas Avenue. I'm all the way back where the highway comes in at. I have, like you said,
Mrs.
there's
Birch,
a
I'm
lot
sorry to cut you off real quick. Would you mind spelling your last name for me, please?
BIRCH.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I'm on the back of Texas Avenue, 701. There's like only 3 houses back here. And like the pastor said, that there's cars coming down here speeding all the time. And since I'm on the back end of it, we have a lot of people that just come back and sit back there. So I wanted to know if we can get like at the beginning of Texas Avenue, a sign that says dead end. Because it's like once a week we be calling the cops back there, telling them that there's cars back there sitting back there. And I know that when that road gets fixed, it's going to be a lot of traffic. Just people coming back there, just sitting back there. It's so much space back there that like 5 or 6 cars can come back there and sit at once. And one time we did have it, but we had to call the cops, and the cops came and got it. Told them to move. But we can't do nothing with the road that's coming in now, but maybe we can, do something, because I know I come from Camden and I know what it is when you build new things, people start coming in, and I've been living back here for almost 17 years, but I know what happens when you build new roads or build new things. People start to come and they start to, like the young lady said, start to littering and just start to make it uncomfortable for you to live. Because back here, like I said, it's only 3 houses, and we live comfortable back here. I mean, we stay out sometimes, like around 12 o'clock at night, just outside. But then, like I said, because of this road is coming through, it's going to be a lot of traffic. So maybe we can get a dead end sign, so when they see that, they won't be coming back here, settling back here. I know it's a lot of work, but we got to protect our neighborhood.
I agree with you, Ms. Birch, and thank you very much. We will bring your concerns to our police department and our code enforcement, and we will address those concerns as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look, did you read that? That was from the preacher up here.
Is there anyone else to address?
Yeah.
This is William Rowland. William Rowland, live on the corner of Evergreen and Kentucky Avenue. My concern is also there's a lot of traffic back here, and people be speeding like they say. We got a lot of kids out here playing. Little kids, a ball ran out in the street, they'll just run right out to get it, not even looking. Possibly could get hit, killed, whatever. Need more cops' presence back here. Like the lady said across the street from me, her car was broken into. My car was broken into, and my son's car was broken into. And they stuck a key in the ignition to try and start it, but it was the wrong key. And as far as sidewalks, I don't know, we really need sidewalks. We have no storm drains back here for water to run off. And it also would be nice if you guys could revise the building lots back to 4 lots instead of having 3, because like Deanna Garlic said, you used to have 4 lots in order to build a house. All of a sudden, when they're running out of land in Glassboro, they cut it back to 3 lots. And now people are just building it to get too close together. You know, I've been living in Glassboro my entire life. I'm 64 years old. And half the people you talk to tonight have lived in Glassboro all their life. Glassboro, Clayton. And just like this, change the building lots back to 4 lots instead of 3. That's all I have to say. Also, like what you guys have been talking about, Martin Luther King Center, I didn't know it was built by young African-American high school students. I didn't know that. That's good to know. And it's an historic building, should be preserved, not tore down and rebuilt. It should be fixed up. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Rowland, thank you very much. And we
You're
will,
welcome.
like I've told the other residents that have been speaking, your concerns will be addressed as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ron Consalvo, 5 Devonshire. Good evening. How are you guys doing?
All right, Ron, good evening, sir.
And I'm not going to talk about parking tonight. And I haven't seen you guys for months, but I have a suggestion and a concern. My suggestion is, and this is the first one I've called into, there seems to be a lot of static and goings on in the background. Have you guys thought about doing some sort of virtual like Zoom call so people could raise their hand and say they need to speak at this point, and then you could recognize them? Somebody could be watching that instead of just a teleconference where it's kind of like a free-for-all to get in.
We have and are looking into it. Our IT department is looking into it. I think the biggest issue, not to speak for them, but I'll follow up, is knowing the number of people that would be on that call and addressing them that way. But yes, we have entertained that and still are trying to work out the logistics of how we can make that work.
Yeah, because I do. I work for the FAA. We've done meetings where there's like 500 people on a Zoom call. Now, when they get to that size, it's sort of like only the presenters can speak. People will have to raise their hand and maybe type out concerns or whatever, but that's something to suggest. Anyway, I'm glad you're looking into that. The concern I have is, I brought it up several years ago. Comcast, when they come, and I realize people need their digital connection, their TV, and I don't know if it's happening in the rest of the town, but they temporarily set up a long cable from the box that is above ground, across the sidewalk, into the street, back up, across the sidewalk again, across the person's lawn and into their house. And I understand they have to do that temporarily, but they do it and they don't come back for weeks. What can we do about that? Because people are out walking. Yes, they put up cones, but a cable going across the sidewalk and out into the street along the curb and back again is not a safe thing. And they need to do it. They need to be better at it. And I don't know what the governing body can do about it, but they need to address them.
Yeah. My suggestion, Mr. Consalvo, it would be to I would contact Comcast directly initially, and if you don't get satisfaction from them, to then contact the borough, and from the borough we can reach out and contact Comcast from our end.
Okay, I'll do that. I've done it before. I've taken pictures and I sent it to you guys, and it's just they feel like they can do anything they want, and that's what it feels like. When they leave that out there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, and they don't come back and do the permanent work, that's kind of ridiculous.
Understood.
All right, so I'll take your suggestion.
Very good. I appreciate that, Ron. Thank you very much.
And everybody stay safe.
You as well, sir. Anyone else?
Yes, this is Joe Simmons, 208 Harding Avenue. How's everybody tonight?
Wonderful, Mr. Simmons. How are you?
I'm fine, Mayor. Thanks again for what you're going to do for the MLK Center. It's a historical building. I would love one day to be able to go over the full history, or at least have Miss Austin, who was one of the original members of that. It's a very interesting history, but yeah, that we don't want it torn down. We don't want it replaced with a prefab. We just want it updated. It is a borough-owned building at this point. Again, that would have to be spoken to about the history of it. But yeah, so again, thank you for that. And I just had a question. When are you guys going back to open meetings? Because the school board, I was on their call, and they actually had people in the auditorium last Wednesday. So I don't understand, if they could do it, and it was children and parents and everything else, why we can't have the borough meetings open to the public.
Well, Mr. Simmons, at this point, again, the concern is social distancing, where we cannot determine beforehand how many people will be attending any of our meetings. And by law, we have to make sure that anyone from the public would be able to listen and or participate in any of our meetings. So for lack of a better term, for fear of having a large influx of people from the public coming to Borough Hall for a meeting and having to essentially, for lack of a better term, turn people away because of social distancing concerns, the safest and most effective way to handle it at this point is to do these meetings virtually. But trust me, we would love to be back at Borough Hall as quickly as possible, as long as we can keep everybody healthy and safe, which is the main concern.
And one other suggestion, they also had theirs was set up through Webmaster, the school board, so maybe you can reach out to them, which I'm perplexed because they're normally behind, Borough Council in terms of their technology. So maybe you guys can coordinate with them. And then lastly, I'd like to, was a name that I like to suggest. He's still alive. He's not doing so well, but Lieutenant Colonel Howard Halterwanger. We'd like a street in South Glassboro. That's over where the African Americans live at. We'd like a street named after him. He's a retired lieutenant colonel, fought in multiple wars, and he's also a retired Glassboro police officer. So I would love to have that name added to the list of, since we're on this renaming thing with the streets. I like that name to go to the top of the list for South Glassboro.
Great, thank you, Mr. Simmons.
Mayor, excuse me. Can I say something, Mayor?
Sure.
Mr. Simmons, this is George Costabone. How you doing tonight?
I'm fine, George. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Listen, I want to apologize for my ignorance about the Martin Luther King building. I did not know the history of the building, but I agree with you 100%. I was the one that made the suggestion, just thinking of getting something there so the community out there would have something. I did not know the history. I apologize for that, but I will learn the history about it. I like to sit down with somebody to learn the history about it. And secondly, if you would write something up about the street name and present it, we'll make sure that it gets on the list. That's what we usually require. So I'd be looking forward to having something to that effect, and stay safe. And again, I apologize.
No problem. Apology accepted.
Yeah, thank you, George. And yeah, Mr. Simmons, just to reiterate what George was saying with regards to your street name suggestion, if you yourself or could have someone provide the borough with a biography, if you will, from this gentleman, to help us, and we will put him on that list. If he sounds like he meets the requirements set forth by the ordinance, but if you can provide that information for us, it just helps. It helps move that thing along.
Yeah, I'll get that to you as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Anyone else wishes to address mayor and council?
Yes. My name is Felicita Johns, and I reside at 127 Isabella Drive here in Glassboro. May I address council and mayor?
Yes, you may, Ms. Johns.
As you know, mayor and council, I have been bringing some concerns to you for the past two prior council meetings in reference to some of the concerns back in our Ellesmere area. And I since then, I have seen at least the speed signs that have gone up on Peace Lane. It hasn't deterred the activity in the traffic. At least I'm praying that it's at least deterring some of the speeding that's going on. But as I think Ms. Garlick had said, maybe speed bumps would be an appropriate tool to help deter more of that. I have spoken to the county engineer, Mr. Voltage, in reference to the road that's going through. And he gave me a lot of information in reference to the road and what's being done and how it's being done. I would hope that we all here in the Ellesmere area can collectively get together as well to make all of our concerns. I know you're getting a lot of calls because I hear my neighbors, talking about their concerns. That actually come together collectively and we can have just a basic meeting to get all of the same information all at one time, and we can address our concerns all at one time for this area. So I hope that in the near future that we will be able to do that. But I appreciate at least your start, and I really appreciate what the information and what you're looking to as far as improving the Martin Luther King Center. So I do hope, and I believe, Mayor, that you'll be coming forth with an idea and a plan for us to have this kind of open dialogue. And, and I thank you at least for what you have started. And I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Johns. I appreciate that. And again, we will continue to work together and work through any and all issues that may come up that are up now and in the future. Thank you. Anyone else wishes to address mayor and council?
Can I add one more thing?
Excuse me?
I already spoke. My name is Deanna Garlick on Peace Lane. I was wondering if I could add one more thing. I wanted to wait until the end. I know that you were collecting names of people with a military background. My husband has served in the military. He's retired now. He served in the military for 27 years, and he retired as a master sergeant, and he received several awards while he was in the military. He does not have a history of being in Glassboro. However, I am a part of the Rowland family, and I know our family has been here for more than 4 generations and counting. In fact, all of my siblings attended Glassboro school system. I attended through 3rd grade. A sibling older than me attended Glassboro High School and graduated there.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Garnett. Again, if you would like to formulate some short biography, and submit that to the borough for consideration, we would appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishes to address mayor and council?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Well, I will ask one more time before I ask for a motion to close the public portion. Does anyone else wish to address mayor and council?
Yeah, Tanya, from 411. I did speak earlier, but I just had a question. Did the council say that they were building a senior building complex on Higgins Drive in that open area?
There are plans. There are plans for construction in that area. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Shh, I'm at a meeting.
I guess at this time I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion if there's no one else wishing to share.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Public portion is now closed. I'd like to thank everyone that did call in for calling in and participating, and encourage you to do so on into the future. Thank you. We have Deb back.
Mr. Mayor, if you want me to go back to the discussion, I could talk about the Emmanuel Baptist Pal Barbecue.
Sure. Welcome back.
Yes. Thank you. I've been popping in. So Ed had asked me to share with you that there's a 100th year anniversary celebration coming up with Emmanuel Baptist, and the Chief Palilla will be announcing the new PAL program. And he said that what's different with it is that it's patterned so that we're including Rowan and the schools in it this year. And it's not just targeted all towards the athletics. It's also going to have some academic components to it. And I know that he's reported to you before on this. Also mentioned that because of COVID, they can't do the big sorts of activities that traditionally do, but they've been doing some pop-ups. And they did one last week in over in the Ellesmere at Whitney Crescent, and they had kids come out for it, and they thought that was a great first pop-up that they had. So on October 4th, that's the tentative date. It'll be confirmed, and the administrator will confirm that with everybody on council. But that's the scheduled date for the unveiling of PAL in conjunction with the Emmanuel Baptist PAL barbecue. So, any questions on that? No? All right, and I think that concludes all the discussion items. I got my that's for the discussion. And then, Karen, are we at the point now where we should do the resolution to go into closed?
Yes, ma'am, we are. Deb, just so you're aware, we're having some, at least I am having difficulty under, yes.
Oh boy.
Hello?
Karen?
Yes.
Can anybody else hear me? Just Karen?
I can hear you.
Well, I can hear you better now.
No. Oh boy.
You cutting out.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Karen.
Okay. I think that was what I was trying to say, was that we were having difficulty hearing Deb, or at least I was.
It was very difficult.
Okay, so I think what she was trying to say is we're looking to go into closed session. So does everyone have the phone number?
Yep.
Okay, and then we
I'm
need
abstaining.
to,
Aaron, do I use the phone number or just the access code?
no, you have to use the phone number, George, and then an automated system will ask you for the access code.
To make sure.
Okay, don't say it, because we're
No, I got to make sure I can find it here.
And my understanding is, Karen, right, we are all signing off of this meeting.
That's
to go
correct.
to close, and then we're going to sign back on once we go out of close.
Yes, sir, that is correct. And then the only thing left is to adjourn the meeting.
Right.
So, and we do that for convenience for the public. So just so that they're
Yes.
aware.
Thank you.
So we would, Mayor, I guess you could do this. You did the other portion.
Yeah, at this time, I guess I would entertain a motion to address the resolution 19620 to go into close.
Great job on the kindling, by the way, in the dark. You did a great job.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilwoman Spence, seconded by Councilman D'Alessandro. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries. At this time, I ask all members of council and all others to please sign off of this meeting. Those that have the phone number for the closed session, to please dial in.
Yeah,
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Mayor Wallace,
Here.
Mr. Casabone,
Roger that.
Mr. D'Alessandro,
Here.
Mr. Fiola,
Here.
Mr. Halter,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Spence,
Here.
Ms. Foray,
Here.
Mr. Scafidi.
Present. For the record, we were in closed session. There were 3 items discussed. One involved a potential redevelopment of the Holman Ford property on Delsey Drive. There was discussion, but no action taken on that matter. There was discussion regarding potential purchase of property on Merchant Street. Again, discussion regarding it. No official action to be taken regarding that property tonight. And an update involving the Owens Field and replacement of property for Green Acres requirements. Again, a discussion regarding it, potential properties that may or may not need to be purchased, but no official action to be taken in public tonight. That's all I have, man.
So motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone have a nice summer day.
Everyone,
same, man.
happy birthday, Dan.
Thanks,
Happy
Stuart.
birthday, now.
Close this
You
bad.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Steve.
everybody.
Hey, guys.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.